In 1901, a single bullet changed the course of American history. President William McKinley was assassinated, and a 42-year-old force of nature named Theodore Roosevelt was thrust into the presidency. The nation viewed him as unpredictable, reckless, and dangerously energetic. Yet, within a few years, Roosevelt shattered corporate monopolies, protected millions of acres of wilderness, and projected American power across the globe. To understand the man who remade America, we must first glimpse the private battles that forged him. A sickly child determined to conquer his own frailty, a grieving husband driven by personal loss, and a restless spirit that refused the ordinary. Theodore Roosevelt was born on October 27, 1858, in a wealthy New York family. T.D.I. was small, sickly, and plagued by asthma, bronchitis, fevers, and digestive issues. Confined to his bed much of his childhood, he feared weakness, imagining a life limited by his body. His father, Theodore Sr., a compassionate athlete, challenged him, "You have the mind, but not the body. You must make your body." At 13, Roosevelt began a rigorous regimen of boxing, hiking, swimming, and weightlifting. He transformed from a frail invalid into a robust, fearless young man. This triumph seeded his philosophy of the strenuous life, the belief that physical vitality strengthens character. Books and adventure stories nurtured his imagination, while the outdoors became his proving ground. From early on, Roosevelt equated personal struggle with moral and national purpose. After graduating from Harvard in 1880, Roosevelt entered politics. He briefly attended Columbia Law School, but left to pursue a public career. At just 23, he was elected New York State Assemblyman, quickly challenging entrenched corruption. Roosevelt's early political battles exposed him as fearless and principled. He pushed reforms to regulate monopolies, improve tenements, and enforce civil service laws. He clashed with party bosses, yet won public admiration. After personal tragedy struck, the deaths of his wife Alice and mother on the same day in 1884, Roosevelt withdrew to the Badlands of North Dakota. There he hunted, ranching, and healed his grief in the wilderness. This period deepened his resilience and commitment to duty, forging a character shaped as much by sorrow as ambition. Returning to public life, Roosevelt served as U.S. Civil Service Commissioner, 1889 to 1895, enforcing merit-based appointments, then as New York City Police Commissioner, transforming a corrupt force into a professional, accountable institution. He walked beats at night, shut down illegal saloons, and promoted discipline and fairness. His hands-on approach, 16-hour workdays, inspections, personal involvement earned national fame. Roosevelt proved that government could act decisively to serve the public good, a philosophy that would define his presidency. In 1897, Roosevelt became Assistant Secretary of the Navy. He modernized the fleet, prepared for a potential war with Spain over Cuba, and advocated assertive global action. When the USS Maine exploded in Havana Harbor in 1898, war erupted. Resigning his post, Roosevelt formed the Rough Riders, a volunteer cavalry regiment blending Ivy League athletes, cowboys, and Native Americans. At the Battle of San Juan Heights, he led a daring charge up Kettle Hill, emerging as a national hero. Roosevelt's courage and charisma captured the public imagination, symbolizing a new, vigorous America ready to assert itself at home and abroad. Returning from war, Roosevelt became governor of New York, championing reforms for labor, utilities, and civil service. Party boss Thomas Platt, seeing him as uncontrollable, maneuvered him to the vice presidency, a post he reluctantly accepted. 6 months later, September 6, 1901, McKinley was assassinated. Roosevelt, hiking in the Adirondacks, rushed to Buffalo to become the youngest president in U.S. history at 42. He retained McKinley's cabinet, but immediately set out to reshape the office, using the presidency as a platform to lead boldly and morally. Roosevelt transformed the presidency into a bully pulpit, using public opinion to guide policy. His stewardship theory held that the president could act in the nation's interest unless forbidden by law. He confronted corporate monopolies, distinguishing good trusts from harmful ones. His lawsuit against Northern Securities, a railroad monopoly by J.P. Morgan and Associates, ended in a Supreme Court dissolution, establishing him as a trustbuster. Over 40 more antitrust suits followed. Roosevelt's Square Deal also embraced labor. In the 1902 coal strike, he mediated between miners and owners, threatening to seize the mines to force arbitration. Miners received wage increases and shorter hours, a landmark victory establishing government as a fair broker between labor and capital. He also tackled public health. After Upton Sinclair's The Jungle exposed meatpacking horrors, Roosevelt pushed the Meat Inspection Act and Pure Food and Drug Act, 1906, laying foundations for modern consumer protection. Roosevelt's vision extended to the land and the world. He protected 230 million acres via national forests, parks, and monuments, influenced by conservationists like John Muir and Gifford Pinchot. Internationally, his motto, "Speak softly and carry a big stick," defined diplomacy backed by strength. He intervened in Latin America under the Roosevelt Corollary, mediated the Russo-Japanese War, and oversaw the construction of the Panama Canal, using bold action to secure strategic interests. The Great White Fleet circumnavigated the globe, displaying American power and deterring potential adversaries. Roosevelt reshaped the presidency, making it a force for progress, reform, and global influence. Roosevelt left office in 1909, honored the two-term tradition, and pursued adventures in Africa and South America, collecting specimens and mapping the River of Doubt. He returned to politics in 1912, forming the Bull Moose Party, advocating progressive reforms, and surviving an assassination attempt. World War I tested him again, though he was denied command. Personal losses and declining health marked his later years. He died January 6, 1919, at 60, leaving a nation stronger, more confident, and more active on the world stage. Roosevelt's contradictions, virile yet frail, warrior yet peacemaker, nationalist yet progressive, defined the modern presidency. His strenuous life philosophy, courage, and vision reshaped America, leaving a legacy of leadership through action, reform, and enduring energy.